China economic data starts to worry. S&P drops into bear territory. You're listening to Kitco Roundtable. I'm your host, Michael McCrae. Paul is out this week. If you were at the Vancouver Resource Investment Conference, you know there are hundreds and hundreds of juniors. Very few break through. Vizsla Silver started in 2017 and hit a high of $3.45 a share late last year. Michael Konnert, welcome to Kitco.
Thank you very much, Michael. I'm glad to be here.
Michael, can you thumbnail your company, Vizsla Silver?
Yeah, so Vizsla has consolidated a very high-grade, very large-scale district in Sinaloa, Mexico, and we've had tremendous success with the drill bit. The project is really quite interesting because it's never been systematically explored. It's hardly been explored in the past, and we've now consolidated the district. We own it 100%. There's excellent infrastructure there for production, and we've come out with a maiden resource that's in combined indicated and inferred over 106 million ounces of silver equivalent. So really quite spectacular in 18 months of drilling. Now the company's moving the project forward. Our vision is to be a large-scale producer, but this district is really something special.
Michael, you're also very active with what you're doing with Inventa, and we're really at a crossroads right now with these markets. So we want to get into a further discussion and then just talk about what you're seeing right now and what are the other opportunities. Let's turn to macro first. We're ending this week with gold in the mid 1850s range, a relief with gold looking like it would visit the 1700 cellar earlier this week. On Wednesday, the S&P 500 dropped 4%, its worst one-day decline since 2020, when a global COVID pandemic roiled financial markets. Stocks are down again today. Markets are now down 20% from a recent peak, making this officially a bear market. The world's biggest commodity consumer, China, has started to worry miners. COVID lockdown has been hurting. On Wednesday, China announced ugly economic data for April. Retail sales were down 11%. And today, China announced that it was cutting its 5-year loan rate by a record 15 basis points, but not enough to stem the bears. Let's hear from our sponsor. Copper is the new oil, according to Goldman Sachs, and Libero Copper holds a collection of porphyry copper deposits in the Americas in prolific but stable jurisdictions. Libero is focused on its Mocoa property, a copper molybdenum deposit in Colombia. The company announced an intercept at the project of 251 meters grading at 1.13% copper equivalent, with assays returned for only the first 450 meters of a 1,235 meter hole. The company's focus on environmental social governance will be key to unlocking the project's value. Outside of Mocoa, the Libero portfolio includes Big Red, a new greenfield porphyry copper deposit, and Big Bulk. Both are in the Golden Triangle, Canada. And in Argentina, Libero has its Esperanza, a porphyry copper gold discovery in the San Juans. Once again, that's Libero Copper, LBC and the Venture Exchange, and we thank Libero Copper for its support. Now, Michael, I want to bring you in, and then I'm really interested in why you made that production decision. But first, maybe you can step back and frame it for us. There's a gold market, and then there's a considerably smaller silver market. What are the major miners? What are the major sources of supply? And what are some of the new supply that might be coming off and might be coming off or coming on, I should say, Michael, over the next 12 or 5 years?
Well, absolutely. And if you're, in the business of silver mining, the best place to go for that, the world's top producer of silver is Mexico. And so people are familiar with silver primary districts in Mexico. That's, I think kind of a commonality in the industry. But what a lot of people maybe don't understand is that, copper porphyries are actually responsible for quite a large amount of silver byproduct. And that's a large part of silver supply comes from these very large and aging porphyries in Chile and Peru. And so we're seeing this, not only creating an opportunity or a pressure on the supply side of copper, but we're also seeing that influence the supply side of silver. And so as these very large porphyries are aging, they're getting lower grade, they're getting deeper and therefore more expensive to mine. You're seeing erosion of the supply side of silver from that, which I think creates an opportunity. If you're a company like Vizsla that has silver primary district in the world's top producer of silver, I think that becomes a very attractive piece of the supply equation. as we move forward. And I'm a big fan of Mexico. I love working in Mexico, and these silver primary districts are excellent. So.
You mentioned Mexico, but is there some risk down there? Obviously, first Majestic had its tax issues, and then also you saw there was the nationalization of lithium.
Yeah, you know what? I often say to those questions that there's nowhere else in the world that's free from risk, unfortunately. So you have political risk even in the United States. I mean, I was just talking to a friend of mine about a copper mine in Arizona that really is minimal environmental footprint, but really can't get permitted. And there's difficulties all around the world. Now, Mexico has proven to be an excellent place, certainly northern Mexico as well. An excellent place to build a mine. And, we've found a lot of really positive, we've had a lot of positive experiences in Sinaloa as well, too. But you know what, you do read about the nationalization of lithium. Mexico has for a very long time nationalized its oil. And I think that, the Mexican government views lithium the way that they view hydrocarbons. And that's never had any scope creep into precious metals. So I don't see that as a threat for precious metals. They're some of the world's largest gold and silver miners operate in Mexico, and I don't see Mexico as a nation jeopardizing that. So I'm a huge fan of Mexico. I love working there. I think at the end of the day, you have to give up a little bit of risk somewhere. Either it's you could go to a tier 1 jurisdiction, but the geological upside I find is not as positive. But sometimes you have to stomach a little bit of risk to find those high grade big deposits.
Why the decision to go right through to production?
Well, everything that we do under the Inventa banner, we do with the concept of moving to production. This is our passion. This is it's our expertise. We have an excellent alliance with a company called Ausenco Engineering, which is, in my opinion, the premier mine builders of the world. And, so we have great sources of experience and information as we make these decisions. But with Vizsla, it's such an opportune platform to move into production simply because of the excellent infrastructure there. So we even have a past producing mill and tailings and everything that you would need there on the property. It's a little bit far away from Napoleon and Tajitos, which are our main deposits. But this district is it's not like some mines that take 10 years to move into production or 20 years to get through permitting or what have you. This is past producing district with all that infrastructure. So it's a huge opportunity for us to move very rapidly and answer that question: where is that silver supply going to come from?
Question you must be hearing a lot just in a couple of weeks. You are financed.
Yes, we are in good shape financially here. We've raised over $110 million for the company in the last 18 months, and we use some of those proceeds to acquire the property, which we own 100% now. So we have no obligations on the property. We have a 120,000 meter drill program that's paid for and budgeted, I should say, for this year. And so, we can execute our business plan this year without having to raise money. So we're in a good position. The markets are a bit difficult, but the company is very strong right now.
What's the stages then right now up until you get to that first pour with Ausenco, Michael?
Yeah, well, we still have a lot more of exploration to do here. It's this year is going to be all about the drill bit still. But at the back, behind the scenes, as we move along, what we've been doing is all of that kind of baseline and internal scoping study work to understand the trade-offs. Where do we go? What, where does the mine start? Where do we build the decline? Which is the best place for the plant? So, those trade-offs and that scoping is something that we've been doing internally as we move forward, through exploration, which is what we're focusing on this year.
Talking to the industry, talking to the financiers. What are juniors right now? Are developers doing for type of changing tack right now with just given that money's just going to continue to get tighter?
Well, I think a good management team will always have, contingency plan for difficult markets. But ideally, the company has been well financed in the financing windows, and it's a little different story if you need to raise capital right now. It's a bit difficult, and the taps I think have been turned off during this market stress. So Vizsla is not necessarily changing its business plan here. So we're continuing with the target of 120,000 meters of meters drilled of diamond core this year. That's been the same all throughout the year. The idea is to upgrade the resource towards the end of the year and then move into studies in the following year. But we always should be finding ways to be more efficient and save money. So for companies that perhaps have to go raise money or don't have a strong treasury, I think it's important to look at how you can scale back and conserve capital.
Let's step back a bit, Michael, and then just talk about the Inventa piece. The news that I followed from yourself and just coming out of Inventa as well is that you're kind of looking at you're looking at the broader market and then looking at other types of opportunities right now. We had the conversation before, and you were talking about that you see a focus around battery metals.
Yeah, absolutely. So we like to invest on themes, and the theme that we see here is a whole new energy paradigm that includes battery metals. And we even have an investment in Vita Carbon. We're supporting Vita Carbon, which is Jamie Keach's company, which is focused on carbon credit streaming, which I think is an excellent business model. So we do look outside of just the metals, but our vision is that we're providing the elements that the world needs. And so, the world really does need more copper, it needs more nickel, needs more silver. And, these are the metals that attract us. And, our vision for Inventa is to build, a number of very large scale, excellent assets with very strong management teams and ideally move these into production.
When you have a company like Inventa, I know I was talking to Craig and I think the belief that what's the titles again? I think it's the two of you are running that together, correct?
That's right. Yeah. So we're both co-founders. We were the original partners, and I'm the managing director, and Craig is the chairman.
How many projects or how many companies can you manage under an umbrella like Inventa? Because I know that you have some announcements coming up, and I know talking to Craig before, he's kind of on the hunt right now looking for other things.
Yeah, it's difficult. We're always interested in looking at other things. My job is to manage the portfolio that we have here, and the question, it's a good question. How many can you handle? But the way that we approach this is actually, to find excellent management teams and build around them, and then support them and incubate them. Support them on the financing side, the marketing side. We have an excellent back office support group here. So, really what Inventa does is incubate entrepreneurs and their ideas. So it's not that, Craig or I are running the everyday tasks of each company, but rather we're really providing a platform for entrepreneurs to succeed there.
Lastly, Michael, we're just going to finish with Vizsla. You were talking about you have that exploration program that's out right now, and then also the steps towards getting production. Anything catalysts that investors can look forward to over the next 12 months? I understand you have quite a few number of drill rigs that are running down there.
Yeah, that's right. So we have 13 rigs on the property turning right now. And so, very, very steady stream of news. Yesterday, we put out a very high grade new discovery at Tajitos. Prior to that, we put out another discovery. And prior to that, we've had some very high grade drill intercepts. So, that would be the same thing that we'd expect moving forward. Very positive drilling news. All accumulating towards the end of the year with the resource update. Again, in both indicated and inferred categories, 106 million ounces of silver equivalent in 18 months of drilling. So, we'll have doubled that in terms of the amount of drilling that we've done. And the news will speak to that. But I think Vizsla Vizsla Silver is really perfectly situated to be the go-to silver name as the market improves for the precious metal.
Follow me at Michael McRae. That's McRae with 2 C's. Michael Konnert, I do see you on Twitter. How can people get a hold of you?
Twitter is great. Our website, VZLAsilver.ca and inventacapital.ca.
What's your handle, Michael?
It is Konnert M.
If you like what you hear, tell a friend. Don't forget to subscribe. On behalf of Michael Konnert and myself, have a pleasant weekend.